So I've received a request, right? And I think it's a very valid request because I haven't done these in a number of years. I do these Big Finish guides, right? And if you're interested in checking out Big Finish, these are very useful. Like the Big Finish, I go through different ranges: Blake 7th, 10th Doctor, 4th Doctor, 7th Doctor. But again, it's good 4 or 5 years old. I should really do a refresh. But let's do Big Finish over the last 10 years, right? Let's see where they've gone. So it was kind of fun. The Toby Hadoken's Who Round. Really interesting interviews with people that you would never have heard of, right? And they've wrapped this up now, but that was a nice ongoing thread. So right now you see where we are. 10 years ago we have several ranges running, and they're all pretty darn good. The Doctor Who, the Fate Krelos. This was This was the what year was this? This was we're in the full season of 4th Doctor, and this is where I think it's kind of like started to fall into a little bit of complacency, where the stories became less indispensable, right? Which also I think is where the main range was going. We Are the Daleks. Again, I really don't remember much about either of these two. I think, which is indicative of their quality. They're indicative of two things. One, they have flooded the market, right? And by this point, again, 10 years ago, they had flooded the market. And that's where I am with Big Finish now. Like, I'm struggling to get through their I have 2 releases. The Companion Chronicles, and I'm like halfway through the second story, which is, and they're okay, but they're just not that engaging. Meanwhile, over here we had Countermeasures, which was fantastic, right? And back in the full season, it was like an ITC series that never happened in the early 80s. It was really good, right? It's so they were, and generally speaking, the writing quality was good. Omega Factor was okay, but again, it was, for me, it didn't really sustain anything. See, look, I was buying everything back then. Short Trips. Again, these are just like, what's I gonna say? What's the word? Story out? No. Book at bedtime. These are like a nice lengths, like 45 minutes to an hour. Single narrator, and generally speaking, quite interesting stories. Dark Shadows, I never really got into. Well, not really my thing. Iris Wild Theme, again, he's very inventive. Like, very, very inventive and fun series, right? Again, which was fun to listen to, right? Return to Telos, again, these stories are mainly meh, right? They're not bad, but they're meh. Return to Telos and The Warehouse. I remember being disappointed with Return to Telos, right? And The Warehouse, it felt like a special effects story. That's written by Mike Tucker. And it was okay, but again, far from indispensable listening to. Whereas something like The Last Adventure was fabulous. And I'll say this is actually worth the $30 price tag, even though I think it should be less. Right? Where this is essentially 4 stories telling the story of Colin Baker's regeneration. And it really genuinely is great. Michael Jason's in it. It's fantastic, right? Blake 7. So again, look, I mean, like, it's interesting. The Halcyon glory days are somewhat over, and they're coasting, but the new ranges have started that are really working. Like, here's another great one, the 3rd Doctor, Tim Trelaw, and I like the way they kept him in silhouette back then, right? I think that's very, very nice, right? I think if they want to have, I think they should cosplay Tim Trelaw as the 3rd Doctor for the covers rather than what they do now. You know, I think that would work much better. And he looks kind of like the 3rd Doctor. Yes. 1 second. Let's see if there's a picture of him there backstage. Cast. No. Yeah, let's see if he's at this one. See, I'm just a little bit uneasy with him, John Perch's picture. Yeah, look, I am sorry. You put a bouffant wig on him, right? And the third Doctor costume, shave him, obviously, and he's not going to look a million miles away, right? And have him act as the third. He's an actor, for God's sake. His body language would change. This, I remember what the Remnants, they gave this out as like a free final Liberator Chronicles because it haven't been out for a long time. And they gave it to the subscribers for free or something. I can't remember that. Terror Sometimes I thought was okay. And Crisscross was pretty good as well. Did that one introduce Miranda Raison? See, whenever they're trying to push in a new directions at this point, it's really working, right? It's really, really working. And it's talking pushing it in new directions. Yeah, it really worked. The early adventures. This was done to replace the missing stories. Fraser and Annick Wells. The stories were okay. The production was better than the story, however. Wizard of Oz, never listened to. Fine. So we're going to October again. So we see everything like floating on nicely. The 11 was a bit disappointing. Oh, no, it wasn't. We're up to Doom Coalition, which I think was one of the best of the box set ranges. In that the 11 is a great villain. Really, played by Mark Bonnar very, 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 very well, right? I really like that villain. It's essentially an evil Time Lord that has some disease where all his regenerations exist at the same time. Love Countermeasures, says Archer Collins. They said in one of you, they deliberately base it on the Avengers, and then the new Avengers with the time jump. You can totally see, right? You can totally see. Shave him, says the Rabbi. That's it. Again, you see when they're pushing in new directions, it's working. The Planet of the Rani, when they recast the Rani far more successfully than Archie Punjab, and Archie Punjab I thought was good casting, far more successfully than Anita Dobson. Siobhan, was it Redmond? Yeah, she was good. She was good. See, I even still keep getting talked to about then. Jagan Lightfoot was well past its sell by date. Well, but I think it was actually having a bit of an upswing at this point with when it got to Series 10, but well past its sell by date. And Dorian Gray was a little free. I like that range a lot. It was a somewhat adult range, but I thought was good. Commissioner Dorian Gray, the Enigma and Dorian Gray. Yeah, again, these are kind of like dark, mature stories. They weren't like porn, but they were like. He was very good, right? Again, if you like the story, was it The Picture of Dorian Gray? They did a very, very good adaptation of it, starring him. And the sequel series, what was it called again? The Sight of Dorian. They did a bunch of Dorian Gray stories with him, existing throughout time. Pretty much all of them excellent, right? Genuinely excellent. That's a good little series. Right, which who was that? Steve Hancock wrote all those ones, I think. Is that Steve Hancock thing? It was written by Roy Gill. I don't know. Survivors had just started, and it was it's still in a very good place. It hadn't like fallen off the wheels hadn't fallen off by this point, and they were doing pretty good stories. Chase Masterson was in a bunch of the early ones. And she was pretty good. The talk show. I was getting this on inertia. So this is when they first was able to start doing modern day Doctor Who. Right? They finally got the. It was Jago Lightfoot and Strax and Unit Extinction. They were both okay, right? Now the trouble with the Unit, the modern Unit is Vanessa Redgrave. Jim Redgrave is just dull. Right, and she's just dull. There's not much you can do about it. Shield Jotan, this is the main range again, very much going on fumes at this point. Right, it hadn't started to crash yet, but coasting. Meanwhile, the Black Hole, excellent, right, with Rufus Hound as the monk and explaining why he wasn't in the Five Doctors. The Three Doctors. Jerry, so this was a solid story. It really was a solid story. I remember that being good. Question Dorian Gray, as I say, great, great series. I think creatively very, very, very strong. Never did the Sigmund Files. Wasn't that interested. So again, you see, but as we get this December of a year ago, things are still doing very well at Big Finish, right? Very, very well. You got these new adventure adaptations, which were fantastic, right? All Consuming Fire and Theater, both of them really, really, really enjoyable. Martian Chronicles, they had that on Radio 4. And then they got John Hurt in for their 4 War Doctor box sets. I'm really grateful they did that, right? Great John Hurt, bit of John Hurt in this. Great. So the first box set is the best. It's written all by Nick Briggs, and you can tell, right? You Are the Doctor and 4 other stories, like one of the Port Mary releases. Little Christmas Story in Grey, which I kind of like that as well. But again, main range completely forgettable, absolutely forgettable. And then we had the Dire of River Song. First few box sets, very, very good. Especially this one where they had, who was it? Played a fake Doctor, Samuel West. Very, very, very. What's the word I'm thinking of? It worked very well, right? It really worked very well. Okay, again, when they're doing something new, pushing a new direction. The Prisoner, awesome, absolutely awesome. Original and filled with the same DNA of the original, very much like the Space 1999 series. But that got skewered by Wokery, right? Order of Amsterdam wasn't bad, not memorable, didn't really care. Wave of Destruction, well, now we're on to the 5th season of the 4th Doctor Adventures with Lala Ward. It's not bad, right? But the covers suffer. This is where the 4th Doctor spars with David Warner as the villain. I saw the Network, part of the early adventure. This one is... it doesn't really work, but at least it had an interesting idea, right? And it was like it didn't work because I couldn't really picture it in the era. They had giant slugs becoming Cybermen, I think, or something like that. Churchill Years I wasn't really into, but again, it's them trying to exploit the modern series for the first time. Tortures still keep going. And now the Avengers, I got the first couple of box sets of these, and I think they're an interesting curio, right? In that they show you what television production was like back then. But for me, and also I think Jason Wadman as John C. It's not a complaint against him, but like he doesn't hold a candle to Patrick McNee, right? Sadly. Again, that was great. Karnacki, what a big recommend. But and when they were doing their own spin-off series, they gave themselves their own identity. Pretty darn good. And you see, look, they weren't afraid of like a sexy woman, right? This is before the era of woke, obviously. Karnacki, again, main range doll. War Doctor, excellent. Fourth Doctor had by the time it's in the 5th year, it's in its own little rut, right? Peterloo Massacre, I vaguely remember. Doom Coalition, but no Wokery as yet, right? No Wokery at all, as far as I can recall. All right, nothing I know really standing out there. Either way, love Terrorhawks. Okay, by the way, I got the full range of this. I did expect to get this right. I absolutely adore this rate. It's so silly. It's one of my favorite Jerry Anderson things they've done. The Avengers. Oh yeah. So then they brought in Oliver Poulet as Mr. Pill, and again didn't really work. But again, you see the production side is lacking today where it wasn't then. We got this series over here. You Will Obey Me. I Am the Master, and there was 3 of them in a month. They should be selling those 3 as a box set for $9.99, not one story at $70.31. And this wasn't bad at all, right? 5th Doctor and Jeffrey Beaver's Master wasn't bad. Nightshade, fantastic, right? Yes, I think this was the final Liberator Chronicles. If it's not the final one, it's pretty close to it. But again, generally speaking, a great series. Nightshade, I said Nightshade was excellent. Terror, it's $33 for that. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. How many discs is it? 33. 5 discs. It's still no. I'm sorry. It's 10 years old. It should be $9.99. And I remember this Jade on Lightfoot with Colin Baker, and was actually, I think this was quite a good one. Right? I think that might have been the last good one. Who knew? right? So far, Donald Trump had just come down an escalator. You don't really see it affecting the. You'll see it in about 18 months from now, when it really does start affecting it. Again, Vamp of the Mind, excellent with the Actor McQueen Master. Pratt hasn't seen him be the Master. Well, Gallery of Souls is Sideman. This was something they released back for a re-release. Not bad, not as good as Dalek Empire, but it was. They filmed it as they recorded it live, I think, which I thought sounded pretty good. The 10th Doctor Adventures I found disappointing, right? In that they were all like filler episodes, right? They should have done three stories, right? But these are all very disposable. Gallifrey was still like, plodding along again, but trying to come back. Gallifrey was heading to the modern range, shall we say. Dracula, Mark Gatiss has a lot of fun with it. Good for him. And you can see by this point, I dropped out of the short trips because I'm like, I got too much to listen to, right? Torture was still going. Survivors was still doing okay. And the Two Masters, again, they should just put that together as a box set for $9.99 download. 1731. No one's going to buy it. I'm sorry. No one's buying that. And this 64, it's too much. And I don't really remember the stories, but whatever. Now, Unit Shutdown. I kind of remember this one. Again, I got it because I was I was a loyalist to the brand then because they weren't busy telling me that I'm a Nazi. But that's really the only reason why. Here you really see the age of wokery starting to come in with this woman, a black woman, being the seventh Doctor, right? That's again. This is a bit like the first waves, the first embers of it, right? Countermeasures they rebooted into a later series, just like Archer Godden said before. And it will very much like the Avengers and New Avengers. Although, the time jump from the covers, from the original series, it was set in the 60s. And then they used their modern day look, which is, 40 years later. So, it should be set in the 2020s, but it's not. It's set in the 1980s, I think. I don't know. Full Doctor Avengers, I think, was pretty much saved with... David Warner being the villain. New Classic Doctor, New Monsters. Again, this is very much them enjoying having the license to do new series stuff. Generally speaking, this set was okay, right? The sometimes I was kind of stupid because, they're very much what's the word again? Old, classic monsters. And these talk show ones, I don't even remember them, right? Good biography by Paul Darrow. What have we got going on here? Fiesta of the Damned. This is when is it a slightly older male traveling with Ace and the Doctor? I think so, right? I think so. But again, main range at this point, very much were going on fumes, which is why they were really trying to branch out and do new things. Because I think they realized that the limitations of it, right? And the Tom Baker season was quite good in that it was quite unified. I very much like all their Sherlock Holmes range, but they would do it. They were onto a great series of stuff, but with Jonathan Barnes, charting the course. Where are we up to? And then, again, another innovative thing. Like they were trying to work out what to do with Bernie Summerfield. So they did the New Adventures of Bernie Summerfield. This is that's the third volume. Second volume, they paired him up with the Seventh Doctor and against Sutek, and it wasn't great, right? And then what's the first one they did with it? Again, so they're pairing Bernie Summerfield up with the Seventh Doctor. So then they had an idea to give that range a bit of its own identity. Paired her up with David Warner's Doctor. Now I don't know if Lisa Bowman and David Warner were seeing each other then, right? With Mark Gatiss as a master. This gave this range its own identity, and they weren't Doctor Who. It was very much Bernie Summerfield with Doctor Who as a companion. Right, David Warner, alternate Doctor, was played more like a Hungover Hartnell's what he described. Destiny of Doctors was garbage. Best to avoid, right? Best to avoid. More early adventures. So this is now they're doing the first Doctor stuff. This is where I think the Lost Stories kind of like started to fall apart. The Genesis Chamber. This was, I think, one of the things that was supposed to be instead of the seventh Talons of Weng Chiang. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so this was like, again, one of the unrealized ideas that they put together. It was, okay, £33 for that, $33, ridiculous, right? Maker of Demons. Okay, this was a very good sequence of stories they're in right now. Maker of Demons was okay, but I think it was the next one that was good. Age of Endurance was a pretty good list, and again, you could see the woke hadn't infected them yet, right? That's really what's going on. Still, see, every month, high quality products they're putting out, right? And there's several every month. Again, War Doctor, recommend high quality product. Avengers not for me. This one it was okay. The Memory Back and Other Stories, again, they're 4 different 25-minute stories, which is okay. The Fifth Traveler was actually very good. Who wrote that? I remember Philip Lawrence. I never heard of him, but he was very good. Tortured Archive was weird, right? Tortured Archive. I couldn't really work out what was going on with it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Confession of Dorian Gray, no, it's serious still with it. I think that stayed pretty much at its top right till the end. Jacob Lightfoot, Series 12, very much past its sell by date at that point. All right. Order of Darkness, beautiful cover. Third Doctor Adventures, doing very well. Right. But Order of Darkness, better cover than it was story, as I recall. Right. I don't remember anything about it other than it had Miranda Raisin in it. I do remember there was a very inserted female character in this second Doctor Adventures. So it's volume 2. But generally speaking, these still today are one of the best things that the company does. Order of the Daleks. I mean, look, great cover. Beautiful plumage. It really is. It's a beautiful cover. And I think I've seen that Dalek at conventions. It is a gorgeous cover. Don't go back. There you go. Revealing Conspiracy. It was okay. And again, as far as this point, has gone down to the okay level. But it's still okay. Unit Silence didn't really work at all. Wasn't interested in the comic strip adventures because I didn't really buy Olivia Polet and Gina Wadman as Steve as Mrs. Pill. Sadly, right? Sadly. And so again, doing new products they're normally very good at, which they do very well. I did like the Dan Dare stuff they did. I was very sad they didn't go on and do an adaptation of the Grant Morrison Dan Dare, but these are very authentic Dan Dare releases. I don't think they sold very well. Absolute Baron Quicksilver. This is definitely the main range. It hasn't started crashing yet. Sontarans was pretty darn good. First Doctor Story with the Sontarans with Peter Purse, G. Marsh. That was pretty darn good. Original Sin and Cold Fusion. But again, the new adventure adaptations were excellent. Countermeasures, Terror Hawks. Again, everything's going well. Even River Song Volume 2, Series 2 and 3 were both pretty good. And then, man, there's a lot they put out that month. So now we're into 2017. Orange Man is in and I think by the time, I think it's 6 months from now, when you see the Silurian Candidate, that's when it hits. But also when the logo changes. But again, they were working hard to keep things fresh, right? With The Invisible Man, with John Hurt. Excellent adaptation. Fourth Doctor Adventures had very much settled into its cruising height right now. Well, it wasn't going up. It was just... It was coasting, right? By this point, it was coasting, as was the main range Starmen. None of these were particularly bad, but none of these were particularly good either, right? Torture one I quite liked. I thought Tracy and Oban was excellent in all those stories. Graceless was okay for the first 2 or 3 spin-offs, but then it got too annoying. Graceless were the Tracker twins. There was a sequel to the Key to Time called Key to Time with the Fifth Doctor, right? And these two very hot women were things that traced the pieces of the Key to Time. And then they spun off, and they tried to make like more of an adult show, and it just didn't really work. So now, see, this is how good Big Finish were doing back then, right? And just see what they pissed away. They were able to do a bunch of Big Finish originals. So the first one was Cicero. Obviously didn't work that well because it's still not going. Contingency Club, again, just floating at this point. Same with, this is actually this was a bit better than most, I think, the Eternal Battle. Right? I think that I remember this being somewhat stronger. War Doctor stuff was still excellent. 10th Doctor Event. Am I going backwards? No. 10th Doctor Adventures. Are they re-releasing it? Didn't we already do that? Must be a standard edition or something. I don't know. Firstly, this whole range was good. First Man in the Room, Doom Coalition. What's going on with Doom Coalition now, which was not good for it, was there's just too many people in it. Right, there's too much stuff going on, and the cover's really not good. And for me, a bad cover really starts to put me off. But still, again, 26.64. I mean, like that's I would say more reasonable in the 30s. But again, the Doom Coalition was really, I think, the last hurrah for this 8th Doctor before I was abandon ship. Right, result is meh. Again, missable, not awful, but missable. Silent Scream was quite good. Something to do with the movie making, the 1930s movie industry. And Jago and Lightfoot Revival were actually pretty darn good, right? Bringing the 10th and 11th Doctor into Jago and Lightfoot. Good. I never did the Charlotte Pollard series. Seemed a bit dumb to me, right? And they just waited too long. Their stuff was very good. Finishing to the Helm of Yours. So now he'd run out of stuff to produce, and he came up with ideas he vaguely had that he wanted developed into a story. Missable, very missable, I'm afraid. Right, didn't really do much. Man, I must have been out of talks about then. One of the last really truly great main range, Alien Heart and Dark Soul. Right, one of the last really, again at 1731. I can't recommend that. Right, the Jago and Lightfoot skip at this point $40. Man, it really got to a point where you just like leave it alone. A Mega Factor I was out of as well. I was like, it's okay, but not that good. And also, I was enjoying this thing, the classic Shape of Things to Come. 9th Doctor Chronicles didn't work at all with Nicholas Briggs doing the 9th Doctor voice. Stories were okay, but again, didn't work at all. But this was them experimenting with the modern era. I was totally out of torture by then. The Haunting of Malkin Place. I remember that one's quite good. So the best one of the modern unit is Unit Assembled, when it's like it was old unit and new unit together, right? With the Silurian story and Sea Devils. You had what was it? Katie Manning was in it. Joe Grant, Benton, Yates, along with the modern unit crew. That was good, right? That was good, right? Again, but right now in their heads, Trump is drilling into their brains, right? It's going to start to appear on the releases very, very soon. Lives of Captain Jack, that was pretty good, actually. That's before Captain Jack was verboten. Shadow World Alien Planet, we're back to meh territory. It was not terrible, just meh. Subterranea was also, I think, that's heading towards upper meh. Right, rather than lower meh. First Doctor, Companion Chronicles, stronger now than it was back then. Stronger then than it was back now, and Survivors has started to outstay its welcome. Right, needs to start finding a conclusion at this point, which I think they were doing. So we got Dr. Moreau. That was very, very good. A great adaptation. High Price of Parking was actually okay. I kind of remember that. But again, was this older Mel? I think for some reason it's an older Mel with the Seventh Doctor and Ace, right? Magellan Grave, that was excellent. That had Polly Walker, who's in the new show Bookish. But if you want to see a topless, may I recommend Rome, where she looked excellent. Polly Walker as a Magellan. I remember that one being really good as it happens, right? Good for them. The first of the Blake Seventh box sets, and this is where they were excelling, right? Spoils of War. This is like a 4-part story set in the middle of season 3. Towards the beginning, this is really when they started putting together Blake Seventh, right? And they were doing great. So Terror Hawks, I just liked. It's silly. I liked it. Night in the Vashnarada, that's one of the old Doctor, classic Doctor, New Monster. Again, most of these things are just like, they're fun, like curios, right? Hamlet I didn't get. I felt if I got that, I was just getting it for the sake of pretending I'm an art appreciator. And Aliens Among Us, so that I think this is where my where tortures started going woker than normal. They went into a bit of weird Israel criticism, which I was very pissed off about. And so I said sayonara to that range. Blood Furnace again, slightly above average, but as a Skin of the Sleek, that was a weird one as it happens. But again, both these things coasting at this point, coasting. Third Doctor Involuntary, still very strong, very, very. At Prisoner Volume 2, very, very strong, right? Basically, when they're forging new ways. Now at last, right, we start seeing woke really hit. The Silurian Candidate had a Trumper-like evil villain, president of Australia. Everything else about the release was completely forgettable, right? Completely forgettable. Time Machine was very good. Ben Miles is great in it. Time in Office was an interesting idea that didn't really land that well. It just felt like something extra. The Thief Who Stole Time was Tom Baker, so it wasn't unlistenable. More of the early adventures. At this point, they're, you know what it is? At this point, it feels like they're coming up with slots to fill and then having them writing the content to fill it rather than come up with good ideas. And then with that range at least, right? They just, the stories there weren't, again, not memorable. Bottom line. The New Adventure of Bernie Summerfield was doing really well, though, with the David Warner Doctor. Captain Scarlet stuff I didn't buy the full box set, but they had a freebie. They did the 8th Doctor going into the Time War. And yeah, they started selling all these short chip rarities, which I already had because they came free with the release, and I just bought everything. Oh, back in those days, right? Because why? Because you can write. If you bought a release on Big Finish, it wasn't going to be shit that lectured you, right? But that was coming. So this was, Behemoth was, again, average. Outliers, I'll say, was below average. Crossfire, fucking awesome. Like, so this is the first full season they did towards the end of season 3, or season C, or Blake 7, right? And awesome. Absolutely fantastic. And they did, I think, 2 or 3 seasons, and they were all good, right? They had a great season finale, cliffhanger. King Lear didn't get... Oh, so now they brought the 8th Doctor into Time War with Raki Thakur as the companion. Really good, right? But man, that logo is the Herald of Doom. That logo is the silver surface to Galactus, right? That logo says bad times are coming. The middle, slightly above average. That was a slightly more memorable Colin Baker story. Again, 1731, can't recommend it at all. Right? Morton Legacy, don't remember. 10th Doctor and Billy Piper. Again, problem was 3 very disposable episodes. But, okay, the insanity starts right here. Right? And if it ended there, it would have been fine. But it started there and it went really crazy. If the other Zaros was a very, very good representation of Doctor Who Doctor Who from that era, right? That one really worked. I'll say that even work. If you like the era, it's worth the $12. As was Cold Vengeance was pretty good. I can't remember the details. Pretty good. Survivors was very much coasting. Unit was out of ideas. Now they did 4 individual stories, and they were scrabbling for ideas. And the problem was Gemma Redgrave, right? It's just she's not engaging enough. Static was quite good at being a spooky story. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it being spooky. Wreck of the World, again, this range is on its coasting stage. While the new range, War Master, and awesome. And this one stayed awesome for most of its run, right? Derek Jacob is War Master. 40 notes for that. $40, I think, is too much. $9.99. If it was $9.99, they'll sell 20 times more, I think. This was very disappointing, this countermeasure series. It was a new countermeasures versus a great intelligence, and really didn't work, right? Really didn't work at all. What's that notification I just got? Nothing important. Right? Completely didn't work. The Avengers Mrs. Bill, I wasn't really sold by them. Old Tannenbaum, quite a good little Christmassy story, and I like Christmas, right? So finally, you see that the early adventures over here had run out of steam. Now they start a new range, which really works as well. The David Bradley First Doctor Adventures, excellent, right? Really, really, really worked well, right? Whenever they were still at a place where they could innovate, but the Woker hadn't really started as yet. The Sherlock Holmes over here by Jonathan Barnes, generally speaking, excellent. I really like all of them. To now. So now we're in 2018, right? It's a year into Trump. Sons of Caldor was disappointing. Have you ever heard Caldor City? Caldor City is excellent. Way ahead, freaking excellent. This is the 40th anniversary story, 40th anniversary special. Really, really, really good. That's a strong recommend to me. How many discs is that? 2 discs? 1731. It's quite expensive. 3 discs. Okay, I think one's a documentary. But it was really good, right? Really genuinely excellent. As was Crossfire. If you like Blake 7, I can't recommend this stuff strongly enough. Sons of Caldor was disappointing in that the Caldor City range was so much better. Just so much better, right? If you're hankering for Caldor City, go to Caldor City. Don't bother with this. Don't bother with the robots. None of it's really that good. Crown Mars Experiment is a bit meh because it's like, I think that's the one where Leela thinks she's a normal person, like leading a suburban life, or maybe not. It just seems like that was done a few times before. And I don't really remember any of these. Why did they release all 3 in 1 month? That's weird. Kingdom of Lies, actually, I thought that was quite good. I can't remember what it was. Right. Oh, because they released all 3 in one box set, which was, again, very much coasting with this time. River Song by Series 3, has become missable. Right. It's actually reached its, that's where it reached its zenith. Churchill Years, meh. Martian Invasion of Earth was very, very good, but there was a crowdfunded one, which was way better. Also directed by Lisa Bauman. What was it called again? I can't remember. But this was pretty good. But again, there was a crowdfunded one. Was it Sherwood Studios? Sherwood Studios War of the Worlds. Let's see if that comes up. That's the one, blimey. Yeah, so this was way better. I hate to tell you, way better than the Big Finish version. What can I say? But I think Lisa Bauman may have directed both of them. Ghostwalk was non-essential. Vienna had kind of started to run out of steam. And you see that when she's less sexy on the cover, so it's funny. Gallifrey Time War was okay, as I recall. Okay, so again, they're doing their own. They're trying to start their own properties. And Attigar, man, this is woke shit. I'm sorry. This is full-on wokery. Women are just as good as men. This is women in the war. Yeah, okay. New Earth never bothered, but they normally charge $40 for that. Shite, leave me alone. You can't buy Attigar anymore. That's surprising. Omega Factor had pretty much died by this point. They were trying to find ways to keep it alive. But the Third Doctor Adventures kept going strong. Two great stories in Volume 3. Right, a Sideman story and a meddling monk story. So Serpent and Silver Mask, completely forgettable. Sherlock Holmes was doing very well at this point, though. Man, how far are we through? Okay, I don't know how far we're going to go. Let's go till the Age of Woke really hits in, right? These were much more. 10th Doctor Chronicles are much more successful than the Ninth Doctor one because Jake Dubman sounds like the 10th Doctor. Crossfire excellent. Attigar, forget it. And Ravenous, no. Ravenous is where it really fell apart. They put the Candyman in it, but it was like the Candyman from the original script rather than the Candyman as we saw on TV. And the Candyman as we saw on TV, I think, was somewhat. Yeah, I think John Nathan Turner knew what he was doing from that. We have a thing, kind of a trilogy with the unit in the 80s with this character. I can't really remember his name. Torchwood, believe. I still got it then, so I don't know what it was. Doctor Who in German, lots of it. So, okay. Cicero, again, Big Finish Originals. I think they only did one or two more series, and it was done. Unit Cyber Reality. That was that one with the Master then. That was actually a better one. But by that time, have you noticed that people they stopped giving it a number, which was a good idea, right? Because this one was actually not bad. Shadow of London. Do not remember it at all. Bad Penny. Oh yeah, Kill the Doctor. There's the Return of Sutekh. Star Cops was their original. The first ones wasn't very good because it didn't have Linda Newson in it, and she really needed that. Age of Sutekh, again, it didn't really deliver. Much like I preferred the Cawdor City. The same company did. What was it? Did Sutekh, a bunch of Sutekh releases. What were they called again? I can't remember. We'll do, and it's Cawdor-City. Cawdor-City. Oh, let's just try Cawdor City. Magic Bullet Productions. There you go. Not one. Dalek Audio Plays. Free to download Dalek Audio Plays. Blimey. Lake 7. Cawdor City. Metafiction. Well, let's see what they have in one mega pack. Is it Faction Paradox? Yeah, it was. And I think this is where, yeah. Faction Paradox was a very good range as well. All this is way better. Lord Nomad was meh. Jagan Light Forever. This was when they tried to wrap it up, and they're using like recordings of Trevor Baxter, who was brown bread by this time. God bless him. So stuff like £40. I can't believe the money they're charging for this. It's not worth it in any. And now with that logo coming on the main range, we are in the age of woke, right? Women are stunning and brave. Look, here's Jenny. Yeah, again, nobody said women couldn't do stuff until you started to say, no, women are great too. And it's incredible. The Companion Chronicles, you can kind of see this is a subpar release. You can kind of see it dip the instant they put that logo on. Canon, however, in awesome. They're still able to put out something good then, right? Short trips. But it's like now woke's over. Woke is dead. We're still getting woke shit. Like Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, woke shit. Yeah, that's still happening. The short-lived Star Trek experiment, Callum, was freaking excellent. Time Wars, this was great, as I remember. This was when they had an augmented Ogron that thought he was a doctor. That was a really good one. And again, Raki Thakra as the commander, she was really good. Like really genuinely excellent. This Cybersaur was actually quite good as well. David Banks in it. Jonathan Bourne, this is their thing to try and get a Big Finish Originals that's written by Nigel Planner. They did one box set. It wasn't bad, but like people didn't come back. And Second Doctor Adventure with David Bradley were better than the early years. But they only had another. It's funny, they have like three or four box sets at max. Class, oh, leave me alone. Bernie's Own Treasury, yeah, the Bernie's was still working then. 11th Doctor Chronicles, not bad because, again, Jake Dubman sounds like Matt Smith, right? That works. Red Planet, that was actually quite a cool run, as I recall. All right? That was something about Soviet-era Russia. Lady Christina, that was actually good too. I mean, it's massively overpriced here. But again, you can see everything's fitting into the Age of Woke, but it still hasn't, like, they haven't run out of ideas with it yet. Chilean Sixpence didn't like that at all. Dire River Song, forget it at this point. Number 4, yeah, it's over, right? It's over. Dispossessed, I can't remember. Dark Occupation Winter was okay, and earlier only okay. All right, it was again at this point, and maybe it's because they flooded the market, but they just made it forgettable. Story so far, Burning Sun, but these are kind of nice, like, anniversary releases, right? More short trips. They released them all in one go, apparently. Latland, I remember that one. This was excellent. Blind Terror, starring Eve Miles, really good horror thing. But again, everything's fitting into the auspices of woke right now. Ravenous 2, really dull, as I recall. Really dull. The Quantum Possibility Engine, I thought that was actually quite good. I can't remember the dealer, but I remember liking that one. Okay, so this season of the early adventures are stronger than the last one, because I remember this story as well. Ideal World. Gods Among Us, part 1. I think it's part 2 where I came off that bandwagon. Doink. So I want to just keep going till we get to like the nadir. Again, and you can feel it like slipping into mediocrity. The quality has dropped 10% in the last year. Again, since Trump, the quality is significantly lower on all of these releases. And it's amazing. Even these new adventures when they had Forrest and Quay, totally forgettable, totally missable, which is a shame. Unit revisitations, no, again, they were just desperate trying to work out what to do, and they really didn't know what to do. Mother Earth 2 was okay, missable. I'm sorry. Once they got to the second season of Star Cops, that was actually way better. The Master of Callus was pretty darn good. Not as good as the first release, but still, it was a very listenable story. The Iris Wild theme came into the 7th Doctor, and look, you can just see. Look at the quality of the covers, man. Like you can see the quality, flatlining before your eyes. It's really crazy, man. It's a real shame that cover. Hunting Ground was forgettable. Crash of UK 201 was good. I remember that. I don't remember what it was about. I remember it was good. Survivor's Ad, again, it was dragging to its finale at this point. Like we're just like, okay, can we just get to the end? 2019, right? Okay, so Countermeasures. This was actually good. That I would recommend. Restoration. Okay, so they're on to the second season of it, and they're awesome. Oh, they're so good. So this one, they actually did a good. This season of the 4th Doctor Adventures was one of the most successful ones. Where is it? In that, because it was several different stories, but it had an ongoing story arc, which this really needed to pull the range together. It reinvigorated the range and gave it some new life, right? So, and it tied very much into what's it called again? Dalek Master Plan, or the sequel to that. Then he had Chameleon come back, played by John Coltrane, and that was also pretty darn good. So this three episodes one book was okay. So this one he had River Song with all the masters, and it was meh. David Bradley First Doctor stuff was still okay, but far from essential listening. Right, far from essential listening. Missy actually I thought was quite good. Again, when they're able to fit into the parameters of woke and push in a new direction, they're still able to put out real quality, which I thought Missy was. Again, very much reflective of the TV show around the time it was made. Right? No, we're in the Jodie era now, right? Aren't we? And again, this second season of the Fourth Doctor, second box in this 8-season Fourth Doctor Adventures, pretty darn good, as along with the Chameleon story. So man, we're on a bit of a creative high right now. Doink. Where are we up to? So now, wokery is coming, baby. 8th of March, because women are so hard in Western civilization, especially blonde college-educated women. Yeah, they have it. No, that's the most privileged group other than trans women. Right? It's leave me alone. And I haven't heard these, but I understand they're awful. Right? They're awful. But again, innovation strikes again. We got it takes a while for the innovation to absolutely die. Right? The Chameleon Empire, I thought was a good conclusion. Again, they should sell all three stories in a box set for $9.99 digital. Right? Comic strip adventures, again, $9.99. Gallifrey Time War, I was out of it by this point, right? I was just like, again, but again, the wokery, well, that's what it was. It was the wokery coming into it. I was like, I'm not really that interested. No, we're in 2018. Oh, we're in 2019 now. Yeah, we are heading into oblivion at this point, right? Ravenous 3. Yeah, again, all this is totally skippable. All right. Then they had this really weird idea to bring Jessica Martin back as Mags for 3 releases in 3 completely forgettable. Again, this is the I think right by this time we haven't had a male starship captain for quite some years. Right. I think we're really in the age of woke at this point. Unit incursions, again, completely forgettable. And again, remember at the beginning, I wasn't saying this. So over here, they finally got the nerve to put John Pertwee's face on the 3rd Doctor Adventures, which I thought was a bad idea. The 7th Doctor Mag stuff was meh. Primal of the Scream of the Ghost. Again, these are all good. I just can't remember. I think it was the next one I really liked. The 6th one was a particularly good one. Yeah, again, 10th Doctor Adventures, Volume 3. 3 completely disposable episodes. Bernard Cribbins in 1 and 1 alone. Along with, what's her name? What's her name again? Catherine takes Donna's mother. And then, I forgot. In the last one, it was all about a trans hero. Hang on. Who goes? I forgot to talk about that. Where is it? Not the Creeping Death. 1 Mile Down? No. No Place. Oh, it's before this one. Hang on. Is this the one with the Swords of the Chevalier? Here we go. Doink. And again, this was a real person in history, but it was a real part of the agenda. So this is a famous, non-binary assassin-type character in France or in somewhere. I can't remember. But again, it was very much, look, trans people, been around for... Nobody's arguing that. What we are arguing is that it's sexually normative and healthy, which it's not. Live the Captain Jack, you can tell he hasn't been cancelled yet. It was coming up to that. Pet and Us the Gang, they didn't really appeal to me on screen. So more Alien Wheel, more Mangs and Seven Dogs I don't really care about. Torchwood, I was out, yeah, because they said Zionism as a watchword. I was just waiting for Survivors to. I was hanging on till it's then, but you see how much my releases have curtailed at this point that I'm buying. The Lucy Miller Chronicles were massive disappointment. Sadly, Rage of the Time Lords wasn't bad. I mean, it's always good hearing Derek Jacobi and Paul McGann. That was above average, but $40 bloody dollars. They're out their bloody minds. $46? No, none of these are worth it. I'm sorry. Members of the Time. Now, this was the last good story in the main range. Remember it because it was really good. Because the guy didn't know if it was a war crime or not. He just assumed he was. This was really the last good story in the main range before it really went to shit. Right? Legacy of Time. I remember being actually pretty darn good, but these things have lost their appeal now. These big multi-doctor mashups. This was like current era and new era, all kind of combined together with classic doctors. Hang on. Yeah, so this wasn't that bad actually. This, if you want a good multi-doctor adventure, this wasn't for the 50th anniversary though. 40, maybe the 55th. I don't know. Short Trips. I'm out of that by then. August 20. Yeah, they're still doing Big Finish originals. This was way too expensive. Transference. It went on forever. All right, it went on. It was like a 4-hour thing. You get a free excerpt of it. Dorian Gray, I liked right through. Right, Dorian Gray, I think, is something that maintained its quality. Yeah, Transfer again. They lost my interest. Time War again. This is where things have really started to fall apart. You had the 8th Doctor in it and Michael Jaston, but only in for one episode. It should have been 8th Doctor versus the Valeyard, who was now a war criminal time agent. That would have been good. Emissary of the Daleks, bad, right? At this point, they were subpar. I think they stayed subpar ever since. The Diary of River Song. So this is where she stepped into other stories, and it was okay when they did something like this before the Doctor. This was really bad. You had Captain Knight from Web of Fear, but now he sounds like he's 103, right? All this again. This series had it was like trying to squeeze an empty toothpaste tube out with more toothpaste. Trying to drum up some support for Cicero by putting him into the 5th Doctor Adventures, and they gave it. Then they ended up with another companion for the 5th Doctor, a slave from Rome. Rose Tyler, yeah, no, I skip this. You see how much I'm skipping now? Like I would never have skipped that 5 years ago. Right, this was still good. Why was it good? Because it was a female-run series, and that's why. And it was led by Lisa Bowerman, and it was supposed to be. It was a Bernie Summerfield series with, David Warner as a supporting character, and it worked. Right, it worked. It really did work well. And I think they kept working up until his untimely death or timely death. Again, new series, and there is wokery in this, but it doesn't overpower the series of Space 1999. This release was excellent, right? The Breakaway, it was like 2 discs and a documentary. Maria Teresa Creasy plays Commander, the Dr. Helena Russell, and she's constantly screaming at people. It's really weird. So, trying to play a strong woman and just not really succeeding. Mark Bonner's excellent as Koenig, though. Really good. Good stories. Great scripts, I should say. And there's only a few lesbians, I think, in the first box set. Houdini's War, meh. Tantra's meh. Companion Chronicles, meh. Torture One I was out of. It's like, again, they basically chased me away. Where are we up to next? Audiobook. Yeah, Ravenous again. I just really, it was okay. This is the 12th box set in this format, and honestly, I think you get 4 to 8 maximum, right? This one, it's creaking and it's tired at this point. Interstitial Feast of Fear, can't remember it. It was meh, whatever. Panos the Gang, I, again, didn't really like them on TV. Where are we up to? Short Trips. Warzone Conversion is meh. It's good. David Banks in it. It's just, you can't really follow it that well. The short-lived First Master before they cancelled him for saying that, being trans isn't the only greatest thing in the world. Daughter of the Gods, I remember being quite good. This is a early adventures, and it's a crossover between the first and second Doctors, and it really worked very well, as I recall. Right, I like this one quite a lot. As I like this Lost Story, Nightmare County from a Stephen Gallagher script, really good fifth Doctor story. Ultimate Evil. You're like, wow, okay, who cares that they didn't make it? But the first one was very good. And then Restoration Part 2. This was the last one that Paul Darrow appeared in before he passed away. Again, just absolutely excellent. Prisoners coming up to its conclusion soon, and I'm glad it did, because I'm glad it didn't overstay its welcome. Actually, maybe did by one box set. Blood on Santa's Claw, that was meh. Star Cops Marzo was good. That was this really captured the DNA of the series, right? But again, the wokery had very much set in by now, as it was, and the robots. Nothing says wokery than the robots. When you have two bland female characters lead bland female stories about things you don't really give a shit about, but still, every month there's something good to buy. War Master Anti-Genesis, one of the best in the range. Really fantastic. The Master goes back to the Carlo bunker at the beginning of the Time War, right? Really good, like really, really, really good. So now you see this by January 2020, 5 years ago, you see the result of their wokery, right? They started when they try and launch a new range. It fails. Adamant might have worked 5 to 10 years earlier, right? But the quality had come crashing down, right? Had just come crashing. This is a re-release. River Song, Weeping Angels. The quality had come crashing down. Dark Universe, great example. This was about the Seventh Doctor catching the 11. It was garbage. It was low quality, right? And I couldn't believe it. I really didn't like that one. The Fourth Doctor range managed to spruce itself up by doing something set in season 18, in the E-Space, right? So and that was quite good. I think they squeezed 2 box sets out of that. I don't think they could have gone more. Adamant again. No one's going to give people will stop being ready to give a punt on their new things, because again it wasn't an enjoyable experience anymore. Dracula's Guess, again, Psychic Circus. This is when the main range was on few. It was really dying, right? So you had. Is this the last appearance for the what's his name, Master? I can't remember. But again, it was a really disappointing story. Who is it? Simon McCoy, Chris Jury, and in ending. What's the name? Blimey, I don't remember his name on the. He's on the cover. James Dreyfus. Blimey. Very disappointing, very dull story. And again, yeah, look, the Fourth Doctor managed to keep itself together. for these season 18 stories, right? The East-based stories. This is actually quite good. Jake Dubman's 12th Doctor Adventure. Samuel Clements was in it as Danny Pink, who nobody liked at all when it was on screen. He was actually their relationship they really pulled off well. Jake Dubman's performance of the 12th Doctor, I mean, it's not like his 9th or 10th or 11th Doctor, right? Time War, again, I think the wokery was shining through here. And Restoration, they managed to complete it, even with Paul Darrow being dead, and they did an excellent job. Just excellent, Blake Sev. Subterfuge, a big disappointment again. Like at this point, I'm begging for the main range to die. And I was signed up for it. Donna Noble Kidnapped, still pretty darn good. Atagirl 2, which, they filmed it, they did them back to back. They must have done. Because I can't imagine the first one sold enough. I mean, actually, there was kind of goodwill back then. So it was it. First Doctor Adventure, David Bradley stuff was still actually kind of strong at this point. It wasn't this Dalek one. Is this the Dalek one, which was almost what's the name of the story? Return to Skaro, almost exactly the same as Power of the Daleks, right? And last of the Romanovs, and okay, historical, but again, forgettable, like a bit of Dorian Gray. But again, you can see also the effect of Jodie Whittaker, right? It had really, I think it had a kind of significant effect on sales by this point. Susan's War, though, was actually very, very good. Cry of the Vulturess wasn't. Countermeasures was okay because of this. They had Movellans, and I can't remember who played the Chief Movellan, but he was really good, right? That was okay. Class, nobody liked ever, even when they saw it on TV like that. No one's interested in Class. Time Slip, again, they try to start a new range, and it fails because they've lost the support of the audience. Why? Because they're busy calling us Nazis. Shadow of the Sun, this was done in recorded in lockdown, and they were very proud of their ability to record in lockdown. Scorched Earth was okay. It was a good story because it humanized the Nazi villains in this, but this is at the same time when they would call anybody who voted for Trump a Nazi. Well, they still do, but now they seem more stupid that it's not supported by like the majority of people think he's good. I'm sorry, he's doing very well. Third Doctor, this was one of the best Third Doctor adventures. This was had Churchill in one story. It was an Operation Hellfire, and the other one was Poison of the Daleks. Both these ones really great. Really, really great. This is a Jake Dubman short trip. Human Frontier, also excellent. I mean, again, had a stunning Blade Black woman as a lead. We're in 2020. Woke had really taken hold at this point, even though that Trump was out of office by now, right? So Time Slip really no one's interested. It didn't work, did it? Stranded, Lost Pro. No, they see Trump was stranded. He comes stranded in 2020 England, and they didn't really reference lockdown that much. But of course, who they got stranded with had Tanya. Was it Rebecca Tanya, who was a woman with a penis who ended up dating his companion Liv Schenker from Caldor, who was gay but liked dick, or was straight but liked women. I got again, we're deep in woke territory at this point. Deep in main character, a companion is a chick with a dick. I'm sorry. If you hadn't spent the last 5 years screaming that was normal, right? Think things you wouldn't get so much pushback against it. But you did. The destruction you've done to society. Where are we up to? So I think that, man, it's late. I'm gonna have to wrap up now. We'll finish this off on, I guess, Thursday, right? But again, Mars 2, okay, that I could recommend. Missy is good. Oh no. Now they bring in the Lumiere, which is a good version of the Doctor played by another lady of the Master, right? Absolutely kills it, stone dead. She's a terrible character. Again, wokery, talking about wokery, the robots, wokery. Lovecraft's Invasion, they had to insert, I think the BBC insisted they had to insert a heavy, clunky dialogue into H.P. Lovecraft's mouth to say he's a bad person. Time apart, this was when the Doctor left Nyssa and Tegan, I think on Gallifrey. He needed his own time. I can't remember what it was, but it was shit, right? It was shit. Maybe it was also the other companion, the Roman one. And this is the second part of that two-part story. Adam Adamant Lives came and went, super woke. One of the worst releases they've done, Sixth Doctor and Perry. Oh, God, every story in that is, just white man bad. Oh, Headless Ones, it was evil colonists. I can't remember, but it was like, it was agonizingly woke. Out of time, not a bad idea. They made some money with that. Should have been a 2-disc release. Yeah, we'll go to the end of 2020. Dracula's War I never listened to, again, because they lost my trust with this one. This is, okay, we're at the nadir. This is the absolute worst Big Finish ever got. The Flying Dutchman and Displaced. It's so achingly awful, right? Such a terrible script. Okay, this had, the Flying Dutchman, I think, had in a cabin boy who was a girl, very obviously, because girls are just as good as boys, but they're not allowed to go to sea like boys. Oh, sexism. And then they were being stalked by an evil ghost ship, which was had just a ship covered in phosphorus, I think. It was just shit. It was absolute predictable shit. And why? Because it was written by somebody who the script should never have been greenlit, by somebody who had no idea what they're doing. I can't believe they gave him 3 scripts. She was awful. Gemma Arrowsmith, absolutely awful. It's a disgrace that they published this, and it's a disgrace that they didn't refund the money. Right? This is where they really was below par, right? Because of wokery. I still enjoyed New Adventure of Bernie Summerfield. Time War 4, this is where they wrapped up that series, and they wrapped up pretty darn well. And they said, go and buy this old series. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Callum was good. They recorded this, I think, before the Age of Woke. I don't know. Or maybe they managed to get a second volume in when during lockdown, when nobody could go out. Shadow of the Daleks, I remember that being CAC, as I recall. Right? Time Lord Victorious. Oh, fuck me. So we've already destroyed Doctor Who completely. It's like on its ass. And this is like, to bring back, this is actually one of the better releases on it. The, not this Sophie Miles. I think she changed her name now. I can't remember some transy, non-binary name. But Lesser Evils, written by Simon Gurrier. Freaking awesome. That was good. But that was the only good thing about Time Lord Victorious. Everything else was terrible. Shadow of the Dark, Time Lord Victorious. Oh, fuck me. Again, woke shit. And you keep thinking, they're going to do Time Lord Victorious to try and reset the balance. No admitting anything is wrong ever. Hearts of Darkness is still good, kind of like Apocalypse Now, with the War Master, and Paul McGann was it as well. What else we got? This was actually kind of good. Dalek Empire, I always recommend these. Shadow Dalek, still shit. Time of Victoria, still shit. Wicked Sisters, okay, shit. Again, it was commissioned because of wokery and only wokery. Weirdly, this is Peter Davison's Doctor and Leela with the Tracer twins, the Stunning and Brave, whatever their names are. And why didn't it work? I'll tell you exactly why it didn't work. I couldn't imagine it ever fitting in to the era. in any way. Like I couldn't conceive of it. All right, which was a problem. Things need to be able to fit into their era. Blake Seven Chosen. I don't even remember that. Is that? Oh, that's a book, I assume. So 10th Doctor River Song was actually surprisingly good. I found that enjoyable. But again, it's making the 10th Doctor, River Song's bitch, which is, we're in the age of woke, right? We're in the age of woke. Yeah, Plight the Pimpernel. It was where Perry gets to play a bloke. Grey Man on the Mountain, again, whoa. It was actually good for the first 3 episodes, then just and fell apart completely. Time of Victorious just fell apart completely. Robots, don't even bother. Oh, God. Santa at the bottom of the sea. I can't remember that, but sounds kind of fun. There we go. So fine. So we're halfway through. Man, that's been a long time. It's a long time. But I will do the other half of this. I guess will I do it on Thursday? Because these things take a long time. We'll do as much as we can. Okay, we'll do as much as we can. I gone way over, like way over what I was planning on doing. Okay. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.